I worked too much on YouTube for the past couple months. Every time I was done a video, it was on to the next one. It went script, A-roll, B-roll, edit, thumbnail, upload, next. And it was just constant. I never took any breaks in between. And I'm gonna be honest, I paid the price for it. I'm not saying that I'm burnt out or anything like that. I'm actually far from that right now. Watch me say that and then next week I'm like burnt out. Anyway, I'm not burnt out or anything like that, but now all I think about is YouTube. Videos, video ideas. I'm thinking about creative shots I can add to the videos, how I can write better scripts, everything. It's actually weird because I never thought I would be like this. I'm not gonna lie, it's taken a toll on my relationship with my girl. Now, when I'm with her, I'm thinking of ideas and I'm not present with her. Like I'm there, but my mind isn't there. My mind is always somewhere else, and that's the problem that I'm having. I've always been like that, I'm not gonna lie, and to be honest, it's been a detriment to me. When I was uploading gaming content and streaming, I would always be thinking of video ideas and thinking about what I can do to improve the content on the channel and what things I can add to the stream. Like, for example, I wanted to add a second reaction camera like behind me or something, if something crazy happened and things like that. And then I was like, it's kind of gimmicky because like I already had the face cam and things like that. But I've noticed over the past few years, when I would put my mind to something, it consumes me. I almost wish like I was like this when I was uploading gaming content to my first channel all the way back in 2012 when we were playing Modern Warfare 3. Like, imagine where I'd be today. But like I always say, there are no guarantees, so I can never be sure. One other thing I wanted to touch on regarding the relationship with my girl was that this year we barely watched any basketball. I remember we used to watch basketball all the time. We'd mostly watch regular season games and almost all the playoffs, but over the past 3 years, I'd say, it's really tapered off. I remember we watched the Raptors win the title in 2019. We watched a bit of the playoffs in 2020, but we did see the finals. And then this year that just went by when Milwaukee won, we only watched the finals. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear that I'm not blaming her and I'm not blaming YouTube, I'm blaming me. It's 100% my fault. It's weird because I feel like I should feel bad and I want to feel bad that it's taking a toll on our relationship, but on the other end of the spectrum, I don't, because I know the channel is growing and I obviously want the channel to grow. I remember seeing this quote and it said, give 100% to your goal and see what happens. And I'm not gonna say I've given it 100% because you still catch yourself on your phone scrolling from time to time for more time than you'd like. You find yourself watching YouTube at times when you should be editing, you sleep in for the odd Saturday or Sunday. Everybody procrastinates at some point, but I'd say I've given about 80 to 85%. What I didn't realize though was that when you give 100% to your goal, a lot of things in your life, they kind of get downgraded, or they kind of get, what's the word I'm looking for? They become less of a priority, but not on purpose. It's just you're prioritizing something else, right? So everything else by nature gets bumped down, I guess you could say. I'm not gonna say I don't like being at this point, because I do on the YouTube side, but I don't like being at this point when it relates to my relationship with my girl. I remember Jordan Peterson saying that, you can go flat out on your career and work 70 to 80 hours a week and become exceptional at one thing, but the price is that you don't get a life, right? It's very difficult for you to have a family because all you do is work. And you're betting on the chance that you become so great that you have exceptional status in a narrow domain, or you're a master of your trade, but you can't do anything else. Like, you can film everything and make it look great, even your cat's shit. And I'm not gonna show you my cat's shit, but when it comes to showing affection to your girl or to your wife, you can't do it, or you can't cook, and you can't just relax and watch some YouTube or just chill and listen to some music. That's the price of being exceptionally great at one thing. Like, I remember saying that NBA players had it amazing. They got to play basketball as their job, as their profession, and they got paid for it. That seemed amazing. But when you watch interviews with them, you see that it wasn't just that. It was waking up at 4 to go to practice. It was having away games and going on 2-week road trips to play at away games. It was missing birthdays and holidays and graduations and things like that. And I think that's the sacrifice a lot of people make, and mostly men more than women, because women have a biological clock, right? Men can have kids when they're like 80, right? But women cut off at like 40, like maximum, right? You can have kids when you're 35. My mom had me when she was 35, but obviously the older you get, the higher the risk is. And it's like once you hit 40, you're basically done. Like maybe that's why Elon Musk can't hold a steady relationship for a long time. He married his first wife in 2000 and then they got divorced in 2008. And that was his longest lasting relationship. He then married some other girl for a couple years, and then he was dating some actress for 2 years or something like that. And his latest wife and him just broke up this year. But one thing that was crazy to me is that if you look at all those breakups and when they happened, it was because something major was going on with his work. In 2008, when he got divorced for the first time, Tesla was about to go under as a company, like they were about to fail. In 2014, when he divorced Tallulah Riley or whatever her name was, the autopilot system was just being revealed, so he was probably at work a lot. Then they remarried, and 2 years later in 2016, they divorced a second time, coincidentally, as they were revealing the prototype for the Model 3. He then had a short fling with Johnny Depp's ex-wife or girlfriend or whoever she was, but they couldn't make it work due to their busy schedules. In 2018, he finally met Grimes, or whatever her name is, and 3 years later, they're now officially divorced, or they're on the way to being divorced, at the same time that they have autopilot rolling out for all the Teslas. And they just announced that they're building a gigafactory in Texas and that Elon is moving there. So you see what I'm kind of saying? All of his divorces and breakups came at the time when there was something very important going on with his work. And I think Elon Musk is one of those guys that Jordan Peterson was talking about. Exceptional status in a narrow domain. He's exceptionally great at what he does, but it's very hard for him to have a family. I do hope that he takes care of his kids though, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that won't, unlike my dad. But the good thing about life is that, like I always say, I guess it's about choices. And I think Elon is not going to sacrifice his choice of making the world better versus having a stable girlfriend or wife, I guess. And that's no knock against him, let me be clear. I think it's a very noble road to take. You're sacrificing your ability to have a family and a stable life in order to do something very, very significant, like changing the world. And it's hard to change the world, right? We can think of people, like lots of celebrities that we know, and they probably haven't changed the world. Like LeBron is my favorite basketball player ever, and I don't think he's changed the world. I think he's changed the world of basketball, and he's built schools and things like that, but I don't think he's changed the world per se. Kanye West, one of my favorite musicians ever, I don't think he's changed the world. I think he changed the world of music and fashion, but not the world. There are very, very few people that change the world, and I think Elon Musk is one of them. Along with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos, all these guys. They have very elite minds. And you might say, oh, well, they just changed the world of technology. And I would say you're right, but they also changed the way that we talk and communicate and see each other. Can you imagine having to mail things still? I'd argue that computers were probably one of the greatest things ever invented. So yes, they did change the world. So, okay, what am I trying to say here? What's the point? What's the point of this video? Well, to be honest, I don't know. But I think I'm making this video as for the record, right? I'm making this video as a memoir or a vlog entry, for lack of a better term, about where my mind was on this day in October of 2021. I talked about my relationship with my girl. I talked about YouTube and where it stood and everything else like that. And for the record, I have 207 subscribers. And as always, thanks for watching.